Have you ever woken up, cleared your throat, then again, and again, and wondered, why does this keep happening to me? Maybe you brushed it off at first. Maybe you told yourself, it's just a bit of phlegm, nothing serious. But then it became a pattern. Morning after morning, a sticky, gurgling cough that just wouldn't quit. And you're not even sick. You sit in your favorite chair, sipping tea, trying to enjoy your day, but that constant urge to cough creeps back in. You find yourself reaching for tissues, trying to hide it from others, and wondering silently, is this just part of getting older? If that sounds familiar, let me tell you something that might surprise you. This isn't just aging. It's your body trying to tell you something. And it's time we listened. Because the truth is, chronic mucus production, that nagging cough, the throat clearing that never ends, it doesn't just affect your body. It affects your life. It interrupts your sleep. It steals the joy from conversations. It makes you avoid family gatherings because you're tired of saying, "Excuse me," every few minutes. And slowly, without you even noticing, it begins to chip away at your confidence, your peace, and your comfort. But here's the thing no one tells you: there are natural, gentle, and effective ways to ease that mucus. To breathe a little clearer. To wake up without that sticky feeling in your throat. And to finally stop wondering what's going on inside your chest. In this video, we're going to unpack all of it. We'll talk about why this happens more as you get older. The 5 most common, and often overlooked, reasons behind daily mucus. And how to support your body with simple, natural changes that don't involve another prescription. No medical jargon. No scare tactics. Just real, heart-centered wisdom, made for you. So, stay with me. Because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what your body's been trying to say, and what you can do about it. And before we begin, I want to hear from you. Comment below with the words, "I'm here." Let me know you're ready to take back control of your health, naturally, gently, and wisely. And if this is the kind of guidance you've been looking for, then Elderly Wisdom Guide is where you belong. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Because every day, we dive deep into the real challenges seniors face, with compassion, truth, and care that you can trust. Now, let's talk about that mucus. And what's really going on inside your body. Let's start with something that often goes unnoticed. Harold is 74. He's a proud grandfather, a slow walker these days, and every morning starts the same way. He sits on the edge of his bed, coughing. Not violently, but just enough to fill a tissue. Thick, sticky phlegm. Every morning. No fever. No flu. No cold. Just a cough that seems to have settled in and made itself at home. His doctor brushed it off. "You're just getting older," they said. But what does that really mean? You see, inside your lungs are thousands of tiny, delicate structures called cilia. Think of them like tiny little brooms, sweeping mucus, dust, and bacteria up and out of your lungs without you even noticing. But here's the thing, as we age, those brooms slow down. They get tired. And when they're no longer moving like they used to, mucus doesn't leave the lungs as quickly. It stays. It pools. It thickens. And you? You start to cough. Not because you're sick. But because your body's trying its hardest to get rid of what your lungs can no longer sweep away. And here's where so many people get it wrong. They say, "It's because I used to smoke." Or, "It's just one of those senior things." And so they let it go. Day after day. Year after year. But the truth is, when mucus sits in your lungs too long, it doesn't just bother you, it can lead to infections, shortness of breath, and even impact how well your heart functions. It's not something to ignore. But don't worry, there's good news. You don't need a complicated routine or a bag full of pills to help your lungs out. Something as simple as pursed lip breathing can make a world of difference. It's easy. Just breathe in through your nose. And then breathe out slowly through pursed lips, like you're gently blowing through a straw. This helps keep your airways open longer, gives your lungs time to push that mucus out, and helps you breathe deeper with less effort. Just 5 minutes a day, in a quiet space, can help your lungs do what they're meant to do, without the struggle. And if you pair that with a bit of light movement, maybe a short walk around your garden or a few stretches in your living room, you'll give your cilia that extra nudge they need to keep going. But remember, your lungs aren't working alone here. Sometimes, what you eat can quietly make things worse. Without you even realizing it, your kitchen might be feeding your mucus more than your body. So next, let's talk about food. And how what's on your plate could be playing a bigger role in that morning cough than you think. Let me tell you about Evelyn. She's 68, full of spirit, always the first one to bring dessert to family dinners. But lately, she's been clearing her throat more and more, especially after meals. At first, she thought it was just allergies. Then she blamed the air in her apartment. But the coughing didn't stop. In fact, it got worse after breakfast. Turns out, Evelyn's morning ritual, her warm oatmeal with milk and a slice of toast slathered in jelly, was doing more harm than she realized. You see, for older adults, dairy can be a sneaky trigger. So can refined sugar. And heavily processed foods. As we age, our digestion slows down. Our bodies produce less stomach acid, and we have fewer digestive enzymes. That means it takes longer to break things down. And when dairy or sugar lingers in the gut, it doesn't just sit quietly, it creates an environment that thickens mucus and promotes inflammation. Now, most people think, what does food have to do with mucus in my lungs? But here's the truth most don't know, your digestive system and your respiratory system are deeply connected. What irritates your gut can irritate your airways. It's all part of the same beautiful, complex network. That nagging cough after lunch? That heavy feeling in your chest after ice cream? It's not a coincidence. But don't worry, you don't have to give up everything you love. You just have to make a few smart swaps. Start by cutting back on dairy. Maybe switch to oat or almond milk in your tea or cereal. Replace sugary snacks with fruits like pears or berries. And skip the store-bought cookies, try a homemade version with less sugar, or go for a handful of walnuts instead. And if you want something truly comforting that also helps your body clear out mucus, try a warm cup of herbal tea, ginger, thyme, or even licorice root. These herbs can gently thin mucus, soothe your throat, and calm your digestive tract all at once. No side effects. No chemicals. Just nature doing what it was always meant to do. Little changes like these can add up, day by day, meal by meal. And before you know it, you're coughing less, breathing easier, and feeling lighter. But even if you eat well and support your lungs, there might still be something silently working against you. Something hiding in your bathroom cabinet. And you probably take it every single day, without ever connecting the dots. Let's talk about your medications. And how they could be making your mucus worse without you even knowing it. Let me tell you about Carlos. He's 82, lives alone, and takes good care of himself. He's sharp, still goes for short walks, watches his diet. But for years, he had this persistent dry cough that no one could explain. Not a cold, not the flu, just this irritating tickle in the back of his throat that showed up out of nowhere. His doctor said, "It's just aging. Your lungs are getting older." So Carlos accepted it. He thought, well, maybe this is just how it is now. But then something surprising happened. He had his blood pressure meds adjusted. And within just a few weeks, the cough was gone. Completely. You see, what most people don't realize, especially in our later years, is that some of the very medications we rely on to manage our health can quietly cause new issues, like excess mucus or chronic coughing. It's not your imagination. And it's not always your lungs. Let's break this down a little. Medications like ACE inhibitors, which are commonly used for blood pressure, are known to cause coughing in some people. They can irritate the throat or even cause a buildup of mucus over time. And drugs with anticholinergic effects, often used for things like sleep, incontinence, allergies, or even anxiety, can dry out your mouth and throat. That dryness may sound harmless, but it causes your body to work overtime producing thicker mucus to compensate. It's a cycle. Drying, thickening, coughing, repeating. And because the side effects aren't always immediate, they're easy to miss. You don't take a pill and start coughing 10 minutes later. It builds. Quietly. Until one day, you're clearing your throat more than you're speaking. The big mistake many people make? They never question their medications. They assume, well, I've been on this for years, it can't be that. But here's the truth. Your body changes with age. And how you react to medications can shift. Even after decades of using the same pill. So, what can you do? Start by having a conversation. Not a confrontation, just a calm, honest talk with your healthcare provider. Ask, could any of these medications be causing my cough or mucus? You'd be surprised how often the answer is yes. Sometimes, it's as simple as adjusting the dose. Other times, switching to a similar medication with fewer side effects makes a big difference. And while you're at it, think about your environment too. A humidifier, especially at night, can help balance the air and keep your throat from drying out even more. You don't need to suffer in silence. And you don't have to accept coughing as part of getting older. Your body is telling you something. It's not nagging, it's communicating. But what if I told you, there's another reason you might be coughing, even if you don't feel sick? Even if your lungs are strong and your medications are under control? It doesn't start in your lungs. It doesn't start in your throat. In fact, it starts where you might least expect it, your stomach. Let's talk about silent reflux. And why it's one of the most overlooked reasons older adults can't stop coughing. Let's talk about Mary. She's 76. Graceful, kind, always the one to send birthday cards on time. But over the past year, she's had this little problem she couldn't explain. Every evening, right before bed, she'd start clearing her throat, softly at first, then over and over again. There was no burning in her chest. No sour taste. No obvious heartburn. Just that feeling like something was stuck, right there in the back of her throat. Her doctor finally gave it a name, silent reflux. Also known as LPR, laryngopharyngeal reflux. And just like that, things started to make sense. You see, unlike traditional acid reflux where you feel that familiar burn in your chest, silent reflux doesn't come with pain. There's no fire in your belly, no warning sign. But it does send tiny amounts of stomach acid, or digestive enzymes, up into your throat. Not enough to make you feel sick. But just enough to irritate the lining of your throat and vocal cords. And when that irritation happens, your body reacts the only way it knows how, by creating more mucus to protect itself. It's not a flaw. It's a defense mechanism. Your body is trying to coat and cushion the area from further damage. But that extra mucus? It sits. And sits. And leads to that same old cough, that same throat clearing, that same feeling like you have to do something to get relief. Now here's where most people go wrong. They assume, if I don't feel burning, it can't be reflux. But that's the danger of silent reflux. It's invisible. You don't feel it, until you're coughing every night, wondering why water doesn't even help. So, what can you do? Well, the good news is, you don't need to rush out for antacids or rely on heavy medication to start feeling better. There are gentle, natural adjustments that make a big difference. Start by not eating 2 hours before bed. Give your body enough time to digest fully before you lie down. Next, elevate your head slightly when you sleep. Just a few inches can help gravity keep those stomach contents right where they belong. And if you want to go a step further, start incorporating more alkaline foods into your daily meals. Things like bananas, oatmeal, sweet potatoes, leafy greens, these help neutralize stomach acid naturally and ease that silent irritation. Even small shifts like replacing acidic snacks with a bowl of warm oatmeal or sliced melon can reduce nighttime mucus dramatically. And remember, this isn't just about what you eat. It's about when and how you support your body. But even if your lungs are strong, even if your plate is balanced and your meds are in check, even if reflux is under control, there's one more silent culprit we can't ignore. And it's one of the most overlooked causes of thick, sticky mucus in older adults. It doesn't make a sound. It doesn't come with a warning. But its effects? They show up in your throat, in your chest, and in that glass of water you should have reached for, but didn't. Let's talk about dehydration. And how it could be the quiet reason you're coughing more than ever. Let me introduce you to James. He's 70 years old. Keeps a tidy little garden out back. Likes his mornings quiet, with 2 cups of strong coffee and the radio humming in the background. Most days, he'd go from sunrise to supper with hardly a sip of water, maybe a glass with dinner, maybe not. He never felt thirsty. And so, like many others, he assumed, I must be fine. But over time, James noticed something. His cough grew thicker. His throat felt coated, even after swallowing. And the mucus? It clung to his chest like glue. Finally, during a routine checkup, his doctor looked at him and said, James, you're dehydrated. That mucus? It's not just age, it's your body asking for water. You see, what most people don't realize, especially as we get older, is that our sense of thirst fades. It doesn't sound like a big deal, until it quietly begins affecting your health in ways you don't expect. You're not alone if you don't feel thirsty throughout the day. It's one of the most common, and most overlooked, changes that happen with age. But here's the important part, just because you're not thirsty doesn't mean your body isn't dehydrated. When we don't get enough fluids, the mucus our body naturally makes to protect and clear the airways becomes thick. It slows down. It sticks to your throat and chest. And then, out comes that cough. That feeling like you're always trying to clear something that won't go away. Think of it like this, your body is trying to run a car without oil. The engine still works, but everything feels slower, heavier, more strained. And unfortunately, many older adults believe that coffee, tea, or even soup alone will do the job. But not all fluids are created equal. Caffeinated drinks like coffee can actually dehydrate you even more. And sipping here and there, without intention, often isn't enough. But here's the good news, getting hydrated doesn't have to be hard. Start by making small, simple changes. Keep a small thermos or bottle of warm water nearby, especially if cold water doesn't appeal to you. Sipping warm fluids throughout the day can be more soothing and easier to maintain. Next, add water-rich foods to your daily meals. Think cucumbers, oranges, watermelon, soup broths, even smoothies. These aren't just delicious, they're powerful allies in your fight against mucus. Set little reminders for yourself, too. A sticky note on the fridge. A gentle beep from your phone every few hours. A loving nudge from a partner or a grandchild who's just checking in. And the result? Thinner mucus. Less throat clearing. Easier breathing. And a body that finally feels like it's working with you, not against you. So, if you've been coughing and nothing seems to help, Before trying anything else, drink some water. Then drink a little more. Now, you've made it this far. And we've covered a lot: aging lungs, tricky foods, hidden medication effects, silent reflux, and yes, even dehydration. But here's the truth most people won't say out loud: knowing these things is only half the story. Let's take a moment now to talk about what all this really means. Not just to your health, but to your heart. To your life. To how you feel when no one's watching. Let's go deeper. Because this is where it truly matters. Let's pause here for a moment. Because when we talk about mucus, we're not just talking about something annoying in your throat. We're talking about what it does to you. Emotionally. Mentally. Socially. Living with constant mucus can feel exhausting. You wake up coughing. You clear your throat mid-sentence. You hesitate before answering the phone or going out to dinner because, what if the coughing starts again? And nobody sees it. They don't hear you trying to sleep propped up on 3 pillows. They don't feel the tightness in your chest that creeps in after meals. They don't know how embarrassing it can be to clear your throat, again and again, when all you want is a quiet moment of peace. It wears you down. Not just physically, but emotionally. You start wondering, is this just my life now? Is this just what aging feels like? But let me tell you something, gently but clearly, it doesn't have to be. And here's the shift. The moment everything begins to change, when you understand why your body is doing this. Suddenly, you're no longer in the dark. You're no longer just coping. You're collaborating with your body. You're listening, learning, adjusting. You now know that aging lungs, the food you eat, the medications you take, reflux that whispers instead of burns, and quiet dehydration, all of these can weave together into that constant, nagging mucus. But here's the hope: each one of those causes has a solution. A gentle one. A practical one. A small step that says, I care about myself. So maybe today, you switch to herbal tea instead of milk. Or maybe you add one more glass of water to your routine. Maybe you lift your pillow 2 inches. Maybe you finally bring up that annoying cough at your next checkup. These aren't dramatic changes. But they're meaningful. They're you, reclaiming the parts of your life that discomfort tried to steal. Because you deserve ease. You deserve comfort. You deserve to breathe, not just with your lungs, but with relief in your spirit. You are not alone in this. You are not forgotten. And you are not powerless. There is a path forward. And it doesn't require perfection. It requires care. Curiosity. And the belief that you matter, because you do. With time. With patience. With love, for your own body and journey, you can breathe easier again. Naturally. Gently. And with dignity. Let's take a moment to recap what we've uncovered today. Mucus buildup in older adults is often not just a random nuisance. It can stem from 5 key root causes: aging lungs and weakened cilia. Mucus-triggering foods like dairy and sugar. Side effects from common medications. Silent acid reflux, without the burn. And chronic dehydration that sneaks in slowly. Each one can contribute to that heavy, sticky feeling in the throat or chest. And each one offers a way forward. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Have you, or someone you care for, been dealing with constant mucus or throat clearing? What has helped? What's been hardest? Your story might be the one that helps someone else feel seen. So please, share in the comments. I read every single one. And if today's tips brought you clarity or comfort, imagine what's coming next. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. This is Elderly Wisdom Guide, where we share natural, compassionate, and science-backed ways to age not just gracefully, but powerfully. And before you go, let me leave you with this: your body is always trying to talk to you. In whispers. In symptoms. In changes. And every time you listen, every time you respond with kindness instead of frustration, you build a deeper relationship with your own health. So, stay wise. Stay well. And until next time, take a deep breath. You're doing better than you think.